Your artist of the week is Roberto Lugo. He was born in 1981 and he is still alive. He creates ceramic pottery. So in this photo here, we have a series of vases that have lids. He also creates teapots, bowls, vessels, things that we would assume to be functional, but he decorates the surface with these very ornate patterns. But he also includes these images of American activists. He definitely focuses on people from the Hispanic and African American communities. So you might be able to recognize some of these people, but he uses their faces in various ways. And he is definitely making a comment about how high art in terms of pottery tends to have just, these traditional images of American culture in America. We're talking about pottery in America, but he is definitely using his work as a form of activism. Here's two of his teapots. So they definitely look like traditional teapots, but definitely the designs are very modern. He has these patterns here. And again, he has these recognizable figures from American history. These two teapots, we can recognize parts of these because they have parts from guns, right? So he's definitely making a comment about gun laws and the use of guns in America. And you can tell the surfaces look like they're painted or perhaps drawn on with pen or marker. And you can see how he even incorporates some of the colors. But he's still using traditional pottery techniques to create the work. We have two vases here. Lots of very interesting designs and patterns on this one. And that's Roberto Lugo right there. He calls himself a ghetto potter. He has a painting in the back here that says, "Pottery saved my life." So pottery is a way for him to express his feelings, but also as a form of activism. So Roberto Lugo, he's an American potter, but he's also a social activist. He's a spoken word poet and an educator. He actually began a career in graffiti before discovering ceramics. And so when you look at his artwork, again, I encourage you to Google him, Google his name and see the other artworks that he's doing. You can see bits of graffiti art used in the decoration of his ceramic work. And he's currently a professor of ceramics at Tyler School of Art. His work combines hip hop, history, and politics. He explores issues of race, poverty, obesity, and inequality. And again, these are issues, unfortunately, they're very much connected with the African American experience in America. Roberto Lugo grew up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. His parents were young first-generation Puerto Rican immigrants, and his neighborhood was prevalent with drug use and gang activity. So he definitely, he did not grow up in an environment that really was nurturing his growth. His mother often worked 2 to 3 part-time jobs to help support the family. And as a child, Lugo had trouble reading, and teachers often labeled him as a troublemaker because he was having trouble reading. He just, he would lose interest in what he wanted to do, and so he would become disruptive. And interestingly, Roberto Lugo really sees graffiti as his start in working with art, and he feels that without graffiti, he wouldn't have moved into ceramics. And his work often reflects historical ceramic forms, but the imagery is very contemporary. It's imagery that relates to poverty, social and racial injustices. They are definitely a mashup of traditional European and Asian porcelain forms. Because if you look at the forms, they look like something you'd find maybe in Asia or traditional American sculptures. And his surfaces are hand-painted with motifs. The patterns are often found in bandanas and even modern urban graffiti. So here's your images for your 2 critical thinking questions.